Hi grade 7s. Today we're going to be continuing with the last section of the practice paper, which is the literature section. Sometimes they will give you literature. It could be a poem, it could be an extract from a novel. In this case, it's the blurb of a book. So the first thing I ask you to do is read the following blurb and answer the questions that follow. I want to just you to have a look at that word blurb. Blurb is a short description of a book. It's a short summary of what a book is about. So a blurb could be a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs. It's usually not very long. It's promotional. A blurb is written to promote a book, either to encourage people to read the book or to buy the book. So sometimes a blurb will appear on the back cover of a book, so that if you take it off the shelf, you can have a look to see if you're interested in reading. Other times, a blurb might appear in a magazine or a newspaper or other promotional material. This is what the book that we're working with, this is what the front cover looks like. It's called Dragon's Wrath. And there you can see the two authors who've worked together, James Byron and R.O. Piercer. You can see an image there. If you open up the book, this is what it looks like. You can see some black and white and some color photographs from real life, and then you can see the text in the middle. Right. At the back of the book, they have a copy of the blurb. The one that you have in your textbook is a slightly shorter version, just so it was quicker for you to work through, but that's what it looks like. All right, I'm going to read the text from your textbook on page 127. So if you can't see the screen nicely, or if you prefer to read from your textbook, it's that green section at the top of the page 127. Dragon's Wrath, Drakensberg Climbs, Accidents and Rescues by R.O. Piercer and James Byron. The Drakensberg has rich gifts to offer all who come to its soaring peaks and quiet valleys. But all too often, the bright anticipation of the morning has ended in disaster and regret. Those who are heedless of its dangers need to know the ancient tales still told by the old men of Amengwane of how the dragon, in his wrath, claims a human life each year from those who venture into his grim lair. This is a book about men who have claimed those lofty peaks, who dared the wrath of the dragon, and who faced tragedy and high drama with clear eyes. A book every mountaineer, backpacker, and armchair traveller will relish. Let's quickly have a look at the text. It's always important to look at all the aspects of the text before you answer the questions. That over there is the title. Okay, right, in full. Dragon's Wrath is the main title, and then there's a subtitle that Drakensberg Climbs, Accidents and Rescues. That little colon there is showing that the next part is less important than the first part. It's about the Drakensberg, so we're following on the theme of earlier texts. Remember that Draken means dragon or beast, and the berg means a mountain. This book is going to be about climbs, accidents, and rescues. So you're sure to read about many adventures and lots of risk-taking and lots of close calls. That shows you who the author is. There are two authors that worked together in this text. I wanted to quickly look at a few words. If you were working with the text and having a close read, you would probably go through the text and maybe highlight or underline words you were unsure of. Then I may ask you to look up the words in the dictionary, but I'm just going to help you quickly with some of these words that you might find tricky. To heed means to pay attention or to take notice. So if you are heedless, it means the opposite. It means you ignore something. So if you're heedless of danger, it means you ignore the danger or you're willing to take risks. You know that it's dangerous, but you do something anyway. That word there, Amengwane. This is a group of people, they're a Zulu-speaking tribe. They live near Bergville, which if you've gone from Joburg to Durban, you've probably passed through Bergville on the Drakensberg. They have a chief at the moment, Menzi Hlongwane, and they're a group of people who live in that area of the Drakensberg. Wrath. Wrath means anger or fury, absolute engulfing anger. Right. Grim. If something is grim, or a person is grim, it could be very serious or gloomy. If we're speaking about a grim place, usually we mean it's dreary, dingy, wretched, really not a very nice place. A lair is a place where a wild animal, maybe a creature or fantastical creature lives. Right. They speak about lofty peaks. Lofty is just a more descriptive way of saying very high, imposing, overwhelmingly high. Right. And then mountaineer, you could probably guess from reading the sentence what a mountaineer is, but that is someone who climbs mountains. Right. A backpacker is somebody who wears a backpack on their back, maybe a hiker, a camper, or a traveler. And this term or phrase there, armchair traveler. An armchair traveler, I suppose I would be an armchair traveler. For someone who's not always able to travel the world but who's fascinated by the world, we might travel by reading books about different countries or watching documentaries or travel shows so that we can learn about different parts of the world. Right. And the last one, to relish something, means to absolutely take pleasure in, to enjoy, to savor. All right. So the first question says, explain the meaning and the purpose of a blurb in your own words. All right. So the meaning and the purpose. They want to check if you can explain what a blurb is. That's the meaning. What is the meaning of the blurb? What is it? They want you to check if you can explain the purpose of the blurb. They want to know what is the blurb for? What is this blurb doing? Remember, a blurb is a text, a passage, a piece of writing. What does it do? It promotes the book. It tells us about the book, gives us a taste of the book. It should make us want to read the book. So what is the aim or the function of that blurb that we just read? The blurb was that piece that we just read. It's the green text on page 127. Now, according to this blurb, number 2, what genre of book is this? That's one mark. So remember, a genre is a style of, could be a style of writing, art, music, or film. A genre is almost like a category of writing. I want to know if you can describe the style or type of writing that you think this book is. Remember, you haven't read the book or seen the book yourself, but from the blurb, you should be able to tell what the genre or style is. They want to know if you can figure out the type, the style, the category of the book from reading the blurb. Now, if you're looking for words to describe genre, if you're still not 100% sure, the genre of a book could be described as either, and I'm going to name a few common genres, but obviously there are hundreds of genres. First of all, you could describe it either as fiction or non-fiction. All right. So we say something is either fact or fiction. We could say it's either a real life account, so real stories of real people, or fictional stories. Some common styles of genre are autobiography, when someone writes something about themselves, fantasy, where fantastical or magical things happen, adventure, where people take risks and go on adventures, mystery, where there's something unknown that needs to be solved, and horror, which is full of scary or terrifying events, people, things. All right. 2.2. Who is the target audience? And then describe their diversity. Okay, so the target audience is who is the intended audience of the blurb? Who is likely to read the book or to read the blurb? Who is this book aimed at? Who would like to read this book, Dragon's Wrath? They want to see if you can find out who would read this book, and they want to know who you think would want to read this kind of book. They give you a clue. It says describe their diversity. It means that the audience is more than one kind of person. They want you to name all the people you think who might enjoy it. I'm going to give you a clue. They tell you in the blurb who is likely to read the book. They give a recommendation. So that's what they want you to do. All right. 2.2. What themes does this book deal with? Right, so that's for 2 marks. Remember, a theme in literature is like an underlying message, a big idea. A theme is an idea or concept that's going to repeat itself over and over in a story. Or after reading the story, a theme is an idea or concept the story shows us. So, for example, a poem or a book or a play, the theme could be something like love or war or adventure, friendship, courage. There's an unlimited amount of themes almost. And remember, a play or a book or a story could have more than one theme. It's for 2 marks. Okay, so they want you to mention 2 themes at least that you think the book explores. Right. Please don't make something up random, like say the book is about loss, or the book is about shopping, or the book is about clothes. No, think about what you read in the blurb. Number 3, there's a statement followed by questions. So let's read the statement first. Compare this blurb, so the review, to the previous text. So they mean this blurb here, that green one in your textbook. Compare that to the previous text. Now, the previous text is this one that was describing, remember that informational, instructional text that just gave you instructions as to how to put your pack. Very concise, very to the point, etc. So that's just to make you think along those lines before you start to answer the question. You don't actually have to answer anything yet till you get to 3.1. This text, the blurb, the review, uses emotive language. Explain what this is and give examples to show that you understand. Emotive language is the deliberate choice of using certain strong or emotional words. So this word choice is used to try and make the reader feel something. Emotive language is a way of using words to manipulate the audience. We say that emotive language elicits emotions or feelings. So you're going to see adjectives and adverbs, strong descriptions that are used to get a reaction from the audience. Emotive language is very descriptive. So it says explain what this is. So first they want you to explain your understanding of what emotive language is. They want to check if you can explain what emotive language is using your own words. And they want you to give examples. They want you to give examples of emotive language from the blurb, from the text. They want you to quote from the blurb, so you'll use quotation marks. And they want you to find suitable, clear examples of this emotive language from the blurb to show that you've learned, that you understand what emotive language is. It's for 3 marks. Then 3.2. Why use this language in a blurb? They're talking about the emotive language. Explain the reasons, the purpose, and the effect of that. All right. They're asking, again, they're checking to see if you understand what emotive language is. Why use emotive language in this blurb? And if they're checking to see if you can figure out why someone would use this descriptive language for this purpose. Why would the writer of the blurb use strong, persuasive, descriptive language with lots of adjectives and adverbs? They want you to write a short paragraph mentioning 3 points, discussing the word choice in the blurb. At this stage in grade 7, if you see something for 3 marks, they're not asking for one sentence with a short little list. They're not asking for apples, comma, banana, comma, grapes. They want you to explain in a little paragraph. All right. Number 4. There's a statement followed by questions. So the statement says, consider the effect of the vocabulary and language in the text. Consider means to stop, think deeply about. How the vocabulary means the word choice or the words used. And the language can include word choice, but also the style of the text. So that's the choice of words, vocabulary, what kinds of words are used, the amount of detail, description, length of sentences, all sorts of things. How do those things create a mood or an atmosphere or tone? How do they help with the meaning and the purpose? So they ask you to explain in detail. Now this is for 2 marks, but they could have asked you to write a whole paragraph or even half a page or even a whole page when you get to matric about mood and tone. 4.1, they ask you to focus on the title. Right. So they want to know the mood of the text is how the reader feels while reading. Okay. So words to describe the mood of the text could be, the mood I get from reading this is happiness or sadness. I feel frightened, suspicious, or angry. The mood could be described as a feeling of maybe loneliness, excitement, or fear. So again, the mood is how you feel as a reader after reading or while reading something. Now, this question focuses on the title. So when you read Dragon's Wrath, what feeling do you have as a reader? And the tone. Mood and tone are similar, but they are not exactly the same. Okay, the tone of a text describes the writer's attitude to the subject. So the mood is what you feel when reading, but the tone is the way that the author is writing. Right. So it describes the writer's attitude to the subject. When we read something, we find out how the writer feels about what he's writing about. So tone in a story could be described as the writer has a joyful tone if he's writing about something that he loves or enjoys, a dramatic tone, humorous, serious, or threatening, or pessimistic. So, for example, if I asked you to write about your brother or your sister, or to write about school, or to write about the weather, your tone would reveal how you feel about the subject. All right. So they want to know, what feeling do you get as the audience, and how does the tone In other words, the feeling or the thoughts of the writer. How is that affected by the title? So they want you to focus on how the title creates a certain atmosphere. What do the words in the title make you think and feel? So you're going to focus on the first part of the title, not the subtitle. That's Dragon's Wrath. What does that make you feel? It'll give you a sense of, or you can say the tone of the title is, You will use more than one sentence and more than one idea to answer this question. 4.2. Heed and lofty are words that are not generally used these days. Explain their meanings by looking at them in their context. That's for 2 marks. Now, those 2 words, heed and lofty, you may not have used them in your everyday speech. These words are what we call old-fashioned or archaic. We don't use them that often. So, explain what you think they mean. You're going to be using your own words. Find these words heed and lofty in the blurb. So when you read the word heed and the word lofty in a sentence, okay, it will help you to understand their meaning. And then explain what you think they mean, each of those words separately, in your own separate sentence. Okay, 4.3. What is implied by the phrase, this book is about men? All right. So there's the phrase, right? A phrase is a short group of words. Implied means what is suggested but not said directly. Right? So something that's not stated directly, but we get the general idea. Something is revealed about the attitude of the person who's written this blurb. Right? And you're going to write a few sentences about what is implied by this sentence. Okay? There's an implication of using specific words. I wonder if you're going to see the clue. Right. How could it be changed or improved for you? Okay, number 5. Do you think this blurb makes the book sound appealing to your age group? Okay, remember, appealing means that you would want to read the book, that you find it interesting or intriguing, or you want to find out more. Right? Your age group, meaning for people your age, your peers, and how could it be changed or improved for you? Now, they want you to write your own personal response to these questions. They want you to think deeply and to respond in detail. And that is all you need to do. Right, so I'm hoping that a little bit later, when I publish the detailed memo, you will have written quite good comprehensive answers to all of these questions using full sentences. Please make sure that you answer the questions carefully and that you do your best. I'm going to post the next video later going over the answers to the questions. Please make sure that you have attempted all of the questions in all of the sections. And if you are behind, please spend the weekend going through and catching up what you're missing. It seems like a lot, but if you look in your textbook, it's literally page 124, 125, 126, 127. It's 4 pages. There are dense pages with a lot of detail in them, but there is time to, even if you need to start from scratch, there is time to catch up. All right. Good. And I'll see you a little bit later.